Hey everyone's Jackel Wolf back at Skyfactory 4 with another 5 minutes. That's how I did it. Now, if you've been following along, you know that we normally go through the advancement book. This episode, we're going to go step away from the advancement book and we're going to focus on a little bit of a special episode. I want to take a look at the different methods of planting and harvesting saplings in Skyfactory 4. Skyfactory 4 is basically all about the saplings and the bonsais. And, we've got our, plant your sapling, twerk it up, manually harvest it, repeat. We've got the bonsais and then the hopping bonsais method. As well, there is a third method in Skyfactory 4, and that is to use a forester. Now, a forester is quite a bit more complicated than the other two, and it's not something that you're going to get, day one of Skyfactory 4, but it is worth noting that it is a legitimate method of harvesting stuff as well. Now, the Forester is part of the Cyclic mod pack, and it's sort of a combination between the manually growing trees and the hopping bonsais, in that it will automatically plant saplings in a given area, and once those saplings grow up, it will harvest the wood and the leaves from them. Though, to keep in mind that it will not actually collect the items themselves. You're going to need something like an item collector or a fan or a magnet or something like that to do that for you. But that aside, what we're going to do first is we're going to come over here and we're going to have to craft ourselves a daylight sensor. Now, to make a daylight sensor, it is simply 3 pieces of glass, 3 pieces of nether quartz, and 3 wood slabs. We're going to take that daylight sensor, we're going to go and place it into a crafting table with 2 pieces of wood logs, 2 iron, and 3 furnaces. That gets us our forester. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go and plant this on top of this energy cable. The forester takes a lot of energy, way more than, most other things. I'm just going to quickly turn that off while we're talking about it. So I've set up a sort of a double geothermal generator. I could have, upgraded to a upgradable generator, but, that I think might be another episode coming up soon. So right now I've got a double geothermal generator producing energy that's being sucked into this forester. You can see it is full up here, and these guys here are going back to making a little bit more energy. This, you've got to be very, very careful with the blocks like the forester. Even if there's nothing inside of it or nothing for it to actually do, it will continuously draw power if you leave it on. So that is something to keep in mind. You've also got a wide range of areas. It is centered on the forester, and so let's go and take that preview out. I'm going to change this up to 7 by 7. Now, one thing to keep in mind with the forester is that we'll only plant saplings on level with the forester. So it will not plant up and it will not plant down. It's got to be directly across from the forester. And another thing to keep in mind, if you got the area of effect hanging out like over the void or on an area that it is not able to plant, it will still look at that area. So it will, eat up time and it will eat up energy. So you really, really want to make sure whatever area you've got it set for is accessible for as many blocks as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these grass blocks. I'm going to go fill in this space here just again to maximize this space. To make sure that we're going to get as many hits as possible. Now, the other thing we got to do is we've got to go and prime it with some saplings. So I'm going to throw the saplings in there for the moment, but I'm not actually going to turn this on quite yet. What I want to do is set up a little bit of a test. I want to kind of compare the manual harvesting versus the bonsai harvesting versus the harvesting within with this forester. So I've got the item collector here. It should collect items, like that piece of dirt and that torch, which I don't actually want it to do. And actually, one other thing I wanted to try is, yes, I can put that torch up there. So then there we go. We've got one additional block there that just to make sure nothing spawns at night while I've got my back to it, harvesting or manually crafting over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a timer for 20 minutes. This is probably going to end up being a speed run, but I'm going to go turn this on. I'm going to go and actually let's turn it on and just watch it for a few seconds just so you can kind of see how it works. Then we're going to run over to the Hopping Bonsai and do the manual one, and then we'll see how things go. So really quickly, we're going to turn this on, and you can see it is placing items. You can see the little purple column shows where it is active. So if it is trying to do something in an area where it can't, it's basically, you know, it will have the purple column but nothing will happen. So this is going to start going now. What we're going to do is we're going to come over here. We're going to go plant that iron sapling, and then we're going to go and plant an iron sapling here. And we're just going to start my timer before I do anything. And we're going to give ourselves 20 minutes, one Minecraft day, and I'll see you at the end of it. And I'm a big dum-dum already. I did not grab a crook. There we go. Okay, guys, I'm going to call it early. It was only just about 18 minutes, but for some reason, the forester has stopped and doesn't have any power. Okay, so let's turn that off. And how are we? They got power there. Oh, okay, so here's something to keep in mind. The leaves have broken the connection there. It was forced a leaf there and broken it. I did reduce the area just because I was afraid of stuff like that happening, but not necessarily losing the thing, but I don't even have it in there. So, okay, let's go and we're going to stop the Hopping Bonsai here as well. So there's one extra sapling there. So opening up my inventory, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and a half. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, let's just focus on the resin and the acorns. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And a little bit. So what did we say? 7.5 resin, 5.5 acorns in a 18 minute period. The Hopping Bonsai has done 35 and 41. So more acorns to resin, more resin to acorns. We already knew that. And I did know this was not going to produce as much as I was doing over here. But this was a lot of work. I'm not going to lie. This was a lot of work. I almost gave up at 10 minutes because it was getting so boring. But if we come over here now, in here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5.5 versus 1.5. So we're really not getting a lot of acorns in here, getting a ton of resin again. So hard to say. I mean, certainly it's going to come down to your situation. I think the Hopping Bonsai is more balanced. This takes up a lot of room. Like this is a 9x9, and we've actually flooded over into our other area here, which is, hampered the whole thing. So all of this would have to get pushed back. It does take a lot of power, but it was producing probably almost as much as me manually. Like that's a pretty good comparison, except the acorns are, it doesn't collect the acorns as quickly as, one might like. So something to keep in mind there. But I think it comes down to if you need a lot of stuff really, really quickly, manual is not bad. But if you got one of these set up, you could throw a couple of saplings in there and just go AFK it. So manual is a lot of work, get a lot of resources. Hopping Bonsais is very little work. You get very little resources. And then the Forester is... it's a lot of work to set up, but once it's set up, it is not that much. And you get a fair bit, but not in a very good ratio. So I'm going to call that one done. So that is it for this one, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please think about leaving a like and a subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at JackelWolf. Also, check out the links below. There will be a link to my Discord page, as well as a link to my brand new Patreon page. So if you've been enjoying this series, if you've been enjoying my channel, stop by, check it out. There's some great tiers there for, supporters, stuff like early access and also getting your name posted on the end of all of my videos. But that is it. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.